Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing my March wrap up. So basically I'm going to be wrapping up all the books that I read in March. Yes, I'm actually really much looking forward to this. If you hear little baby cries, one of my cats has just given birth to her kittens. She has 3 tiny little babies. Also, I am in a completely different setup. I'm in my dining room because this is the most soundproof kind of area. Everyone's at home at the moment. Okay, so let's start off with the books that I no longer have to kind of hold up to you guys, but I had 2 library books this month that I wanted to read, and I managed to read both of them. I read them both at the very beginning of the month, and that was The Sound of Seas by Gillian Anderson and Jeff Rovin, and I was really disappointed with this book. I'd given the series as a whole, which was the Earth End series, I'd given the books on average around 4 stars. It wasn't the best writing I've ever read, but it was how engaged I was in that story. However, the third book, which this one happened to be, just fell off for me a little bit. I just felt it was really repetitive and a little bit boring, and I just really wasn't feeling it as much. I was really disappointed with this, and I would have been a lot happier just reading the first 2 books in the series. It was interesting to see how things ended. I think I gave it 2 stars or 1 stars, but the first 2 books in the series were really good, so I think it's all down to perspective, but I just didn't enjoy the last book at all. The next library book that I read was Truth Witch by Susan Dennard. I have Wind Witch here because I plan to read it in the month of April. I read the first book in this series, which is the Witchlands series by Susan Dennard, and I really enjoyed that first book. You follow 2 sisters, Safi and Islut. Islut is a Thread Witch and Safi is a Truth Witch. Truth Witches are really rare in this realm of magic, and most of them have been killed off, and so everyone will do anything to get a Truth Witch. Loved it. I think I gave it either 4 stars or 5 stars. I really enjoyed it a lot. And so I picked up the second book, which is why I'm holding up the second book right now, but there will probably be an overlay picture of the first book anyway. Another disappointing read this month was Psycho by Robert Bloch. Now this promises you on the blurb to be the scariest book that you have ever read. And you know, I picked this up fully curious about why it is claimed, well, why the author himself, because I'm guessing he wrote this blurb, claims to be the scariest book you've ever read, and I just wasn't scared at all. For me, if anything, this was hugely disappointing because the blurb states it's going to be the scariest thing you've ever seen, and it's going to basically leave you shattered and not being able to breathe. And the only thing that left me kind of a bit confused, if I'm honest, is the very ending. So I'm going to spoil it here, so if you do plan on reading this or you don't want to hear spoilers, then skip ahead to the next book. But basically the mum isn't dead, but she supposedly was dead, but she's not dead, and now her son's in prison and she's somehow alive again, and it's just a whole kind of like, okay then, like weird but okay. I don't think that the ending, like, you know, having a strange ending should mean that the rest of the book was worthwhile, because quite personally it wasn't very memorable and it just wasn't a good book at all. Okay, let's get out the kind of my book where I'm just kind of like on the edge about, and that is Cinder, which is the first book in the Lunar Chronicles by Marissa Myers. Now, I didn't hate this book, but I also didn't love it, but I didn't hate it, and I'm just kind of on the fence with it. I didn't feel like much happened in the book, but that meant that it was a really good setup book for the rest of the series. I don't know what didn't do it for me, but something in here just really didn't bring it to the table for me. I wanted a lot of things to happen that didn't happen, but the things that did happen I wasn't shocked by, kind of thing, and it was kind of made very obvious. I gave it 3 stars, which just to me means it was okay, you know, it was enjoyable enough, but it didn't all make sense to me. And it's not my favourite book, but I do want to continue with the series because I feel like the ending of this and the book itself is a setup for something that could be good, or even great. I don't think that it will be like amazing in my 5-star like favourite series space, but I do think that it could become a 4-star for me. I have Another great read for me, which was Tessa Christensen, The Surgeon. Loved this. I just love the way that she writes. It's not complicated, it's not wordy, it doesn't take forever to get through, it's not a bit of a slog, it's not sluggish. And although I'm just starting to get into reading epic high fantasy novels now, and that is kind of becoming something that I really love, as you guys will see in a second, but I still love the simplicity that Tess writes with, but also with great knowledge, and I just really love the way that she writes, and I can't explain why I do. I could binge read her books right now because I just love her style of writing, and I never get bored of reading a good Tessa Christensen book, and I just love this. Because I'm filming this early, I've still got about I've got 6 days left of the month when I'm filming this video, so I haven't exactly finished this right now, but I have under 100 pages to go, so I am so excited to finish this, and I am absolutely loving this. I should probably tell you what it's called. This is The Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb. This is the first book in the Farseer trilogy, which is the first trilogy in the Elderling series, which is a 16-book series by Robin Hobb, and it is classed as an epic high fantasy series, and this is my first ever epic high fantasy series, I believe. I've read normal fantasy, I've read YA, but I have never read epic high fantasy, and I have always wanted to read Brandon Sanderson Mistborn and Game of Thrones and stuff like that, The Hobbit even. I wanted to read all of those huge series, but I've always shied away from them because a lot of people say that the first few books of those series are sluggish and they're hard to get through. However, lots of people told me this was going to be a really slow-paced book and that I probably wouldn't enjoy it in that fact, but it's slow-paced, but I am so into it. I absolutely love this book. I think it's amazing. I love listening about, like, learning Fitz's backstory. I love how I'm learning about him and his family and his inheritance and where he became part of the Farseer family. I love hearing about his skill and learning about the world that he lives in and all of the different places like Forge and the Redship Raiders, which seemed like they're going to be a huge villain in this series as a whole. Absolutely loving this book, and I have a feeling this is going to be a 5-star read for me. I am in love with it. Then a book that should probably not be in this video, but I'm gonna do it anyway, is Stephen King's Salem's Lot. And as you can see, there is no bookmark in here. I have not started this book yet. Like I said, I have 6 days left of the month yet, so I will probably be partway through this book. I'm not going to say how many pages. It will definitely be a book that gets carried on to next month, which it's not part of my Owls readathon. If you've seen that video, again, if you've seen my Owls readathon video, then you'll know that it's not in there, but it is a book that I do want to read and I have been looking forward to getting to, and it is a big boy, but I am very excited to read it, because it has something to do with vampires, and I love a good vampire book, as I relived my vampire love in The Beautiful by Renee Ahdieh. So I had to abruptly stop because I needed to check the kittens because they were crying, and I thought I'd just end the video stood up vlog style because we're at the end of it anyway. So basically, the Stephen King Salem's Lot I will begin this month, but I don't think I'll finish it by the end of the month, so it'll probably be carried on to next month, but you'll see it in another video if it is carried on. Yeah, but that is all of the books I read in March, and I've had a really good reading month. I mean, there has been quite a few flops this month compared to February, but I am looking forward to next month's reading month, and you know, it's unpredictable whether you're gonna love or hate a book. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel if you're new around here and would like to see more videos from me, and I'll catch you guys all in the next one. Bye!